Thanks, Louise. So, season 2013, Tim Harvey, is about to get underway for the teams, for the guys on the grid. Now the talking stops, but already we've had drama because even getting to the grid, we've had a spin from Tom Onslow Cole, Joe Gerling has headed for the pit lane, and Nick Foster's new BMW has stopped on track. So there are teams really in drama, and we haven't gone racing yet.
No, and I think when they do start, when that flag does drop, there's going to be a lot of trepidation on cold tyres. It really is difficult on cold tyres. I expect a lot of spins, a lot of drama on these first couple of laps. They do get 2 warm-up laps, but it's not enough to get real temperature in the tyres. So expect those first couple laps to be very iffy.
Next, Andrew Jordan celebrating his 150th touring car race. Who is the man on pole position? As you've heard, it's Gordon Shedden, the reigning champion, with him at the front of the grid. Jason Plato to line up third and Matt Neal fourth. You've got 4 potential winners there. Sam Tordoff, with the second of the MGs, lines up fifth on the grid. And Dave Newsham, who went very strongly indeed yesterday with a couple of wild moments in qualifying in the Speedworks run. Toyota Avensis sixth on the grid. Any one of those could be a race winner.
They definitely could, and obviously we have to remember the rear-wheel drive cars are quick off the line. You've got Rob Austin there on the 4th row. But now we do know who is on the soft tyre, and I can tell you there are 4 cars on the soft tyre. The first one is Rob Austin that we just talked about. He's on the soft tyre. We also have Adam Morgan on the soft tyre. We have Rob Collard and Colin Turkington starting on the back. So interesting, you've got 3 rear-wheel drive cars starting on the soft tyre. 1 front-wheel drive car, and Turkington from the back. Could be interesting.
Now, the other question in all of this is about tyres and the life of the tyres. Now, some people are thinking because it's cold, that's going to preserve the life of the rubber. Other people, drivers particularly, are saying that it's going to grain the tyre far quicker. So, if you look at Nick Foster's car, which doesn't look as though it's going to be able to join in anytime soon, what's your take on this tyre? Are we going to look at a very short operating time for these tyres, or can they go quite a long way?
No, I don't think they can go very far, and I think the advantage is not going to be that great. I'll be watching the times of the lap times now. I know which cars are on those, and we'll get a better feel, but we really don't know. But I'm not expecting that tyre to be quicker over the race distance than the standard medium compound white yellow sidewall tyre. So we'll see how they go.
Now, Colin Turkington, Tim has touched on being on the soft tyre. You'll come to him in a little while because he's right at the back of this grid, headed by Andrew Jordan and Gordon Shedden. Jason Plato is third ahead of Matt Neal, Sam Tordoff and Dave Newsham round out the top 6 on the grid. Behind them, Rob Austin, certainly a man to watch, and Jeff Smith. Then Nick Foster, well, his car's in the pit lane in the garage, but Adam Morgan in the Sicily Racing Toyota is next, ahead of Ollie Jackson, moving to Speedworks for this year, and the unrelated Matt Jackson is next on the grid, another man to watch after a disappointing qualifying. Then it's the soft-tyred Rob Collard ahead of Aaron Smith, 2 guys to watch there. Will Bratt and Lee Wood next. Then Tom Onslow Cole in the Volkswagen Passat, and James Kay in his 4th decade in the BTCC. Liam Griffin in his Ford Focus is next. Joe Gerling is now in the pit lane. Ex-bike racer Warren Scott and James Cole, former Formula 4 champion, are next. And then it's David Nye, another touring car rookie, alongside Daniel Welch, who was in trouble with the drive shaft yesterday. Then Colin Turkington, who had a spin yesterday, and he got a head-on from Jack Goff. So 2 damaged cars has put them at the back of the grid. Turk's now on the soft tyre, and Frank Raffle failed the ride height test yesterday when he was in the top 6, and that, by dint of really being a technical infringement, puts him to the back of the grid. Well, there is a man who has got the spotlight on him anyway, because firstly, he's a previous champion. Secondly, it's his return to the BTCC. Thirdly, he's new to NGTC spec cars. Fourthly, he had that spin yesterday. 5th, he's at the back of the grid. And 6th, he's on the soft tyres. So all eyes now on Colin Turkington for lots of reasons, Tim.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch both ends of the grid, aren't we, to see what happens. But Colin's a wise old head. They'll all be driving around now, dragging the brake with their left foot to generate tyre brake temperature that goes through the wheel hub and into the tyres to create temperature from inside, not just surface friction. So they'll drag that left foot brake, get as much heat as they can into the tyres, and hopefully the first lap will be okay. But Colin can come through, he can make progress. There's Jack Goff, the other car that was involved in that incident in qualifying. He's out, and Frank Rathel, who of course failed the ride height check, having set 6th quickest time. So we've got 3 good charges at the back.
Now, yesterday, Tim's tip for pole turned out pretty well. You tipped Andrew Jordan, and he did indeed take pole position in a qualifying session that wasn't truncated by the snow, but good lap time certainly couldn't be set towards the end. So Tim's tip for the first win of 2013 is
Gordon Shedden.
OK, let's see whether you are going to be right. 24 laps in prospect. You're looking at Andrew Jordan. He makes his way up onto the grid. It's a 1-by-1 staggered grid formation around the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, which is 1.2 miles, 24 laps in prospect. And are we going to get through Paddock Hill Bend on the first lap safely? Everybody on cold tyres still. It's going to be a real heart-in-mouth first couple of laps. We've had people spinning on their way round to the grid. In qualifying yesterday, we had people spinning, and they were the star names, if you like. Matt Neal was in the walls a little bit. Dave Newsham had a couple of wild moments. Colin Turkington, we talked about, with the spin and ultimately the accident, because that man, Jack Goff, arrived out of Druids unsighted and went head-on into the parked BMW. That was why we had those two badly damaged cars. But if they can all survive the first couple of laps, then it's going to be game on. So, the last car has slotted into place at the back of the grid, and that is Frank Raffle. The green flag is waved. Buckle up, because the 2013 Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship season is about to get underway. The drivers look towards the lighting gantry. The lights go red, engine notes rise, lights out, we're racing. Jordan makes a good start. Gordon Shedden tries to slot in behind him, but it's Jordan who leads as Jason Plato gets boxed in behind the Honda on the run up towards Paddock. And look at Rob Austin, a demon start round the outside. He's aiming for second on the outside line. He might get hung out to dry as a really sideways Honda of Gordon Shedden gets all crossed up, and they've all missed him somehow, Tim.
Yeah, brilliant start by Andrew Jordan and Rob Austin, as you say, went all the way around the outside. Remember, Rob Austin, rear-wheel drive Audi on soft tyres, and a great save by Gordon Shedden. Well, we know he can do that because he saved one, a massive one at Rockingham last year.
Warren Scott, you've just seen going off the road. There's a bit of smoke coming out of the Honda, isn't there, in fourth place. Now Rob Austin is second already, and that's Matt Neal, who's got bodywork fouling against a tyre. By the look of it, Matt Neal could be bound for the pit lane. Rob Austin leads, dives up on the inside. He wriggles away past Andrew Jordan. You've got Jason Plato in the mix as well. He's on the inside line. Jordan gets mugged. He goes down to third. Rob Austin leads, but the MG virtually pushing him across the line. How about this? 3 for the lead, and it's Rob Austin, who started way back, remember, 7th. He leads at the end of that one.
Well, the MG is a slightly longer wheelbase car than the Honda, so it warms its tyres up slightly better. It has more stable footprint, but the rear-wheel drive Audi off to a blinding start.
Now, Rob said to me yesterday that he always races better than he qualifies. And that, I'm afraid, is James Cole, who is off the road, the former single-seater star. Ex-Formula 4 champion, Formula 3 racer, and if he's going to be beached in that gravel bed, it could be a safety car. Let's wait and see as the leaders work their way through Surtees, and you can see Matt Neal is dropping back, and we are going to go safety car. Now, what is all this about, Tim?
Well, there must have been a slight contact there. He's had a little push on the rear. There's a safety car waiting, but they do race right up until the point they get to safety car boards, which they now have. So Matt Neal, a little bit of damage. That won't cause him to have to pit at the moment, but if it gets any worse, it could cause a puncture.
So everybody over the line, and now, as they start to slow the pace, people are going to be weaving around to try to maintain the warmth in the rubber. James Cole has gone a long way off, hasn't he, at Paddock Hill Bend. Now, those that are on soft tyres, Rob Austin leading, we've talked about that. Rob Collard 10th, Adam Morgan, who is 11th, and Colin Turkington, very nearly the last rank on the grid, is up into 19th place. For Colin Turkington, this is a good thing, this safety car, because it bunches people up. So on the restart, everybody's tightly packed ahead of him, ready for him to start making progress again.
Yeah, as many restarts as possible will help Colin Turkington as it keeps the field close together. Big disappointment for James Cole, making his touring car debut in one of the Team Hard insignias, and he's gone off. I think cold tyres just got the better of him at Paddock Hill Bend, but he'll be pulled out of the way. The other big loser really is Shedden. I mean, he dropped back to 9th place after that big moment. This is looking back. Look, there we are. Cold tyres, top of Paddock Hill Bend. Rear comes round, and James is an unfortunate passenger coming into shot here from a different angle. Watch, there we go, just the left rear tyre just not up to temperature and sliding out. And, well, James could have possibly saved it if he'd had a bit more experience with front-wheel drive and got on the throttle a bit like we saw Shedden do, but he's got to work up to that.
For James Cole, this has been very much a learning weekend because the Team Hard cars weren't ready for the media day and the test afternoon at Donington Park, so they've arrived here Friday afternoon, freshly built, and it really is very much the start of the learning process for those cars. So it's a step into the unknown in a sense for James Cole. Now that Rob Collard, the BMW you've just seen in the pit lane, a replay of the start. One or two cars in the background getting bogged down, Warren Scott amongst them. Andrew Jordan made a good start, but Rob Austin, a demon getaway on that soft tyre.
Yeah, really flew all the way around the outside, and Shedden just lose it. He had Plato very close up behind him. I hope there wasn't any contact there. I doubt it, but I think it was just this is Turkington's start right from the back. Blimey, well, he was away like a scalded cat, wasn't he? Up through the gears, nowhere really to go now, but He's got cars left and right. He's just looking for a gap to try and go through. That's Dan Welch in front of him and James Cole. Now he brings the car to the inside. He's already seen that incident in front of him, but he has a moment himself, and up goes Rathel on the inside. Shedden's view from the start, he pulls immediately across, gets a bit too much wheel spin, so no chance to challenge Jordan, so he gets a... Let's just stay on board, see if we can hear any touch. Couldn't hear myself, but we'll have to wait and see, but he did very well to save that.
A great save by Gordon Shedden, but Dave Newsham has parked by the side of the road, look, so that's a really bad start to the season for Speedworks. Dave, a race winner last year, and there was real optimism that him plus Speedworks making progress together would be winners this year. And Rob Collard in the pit lane, bonnet up. I'm afraid it is not a happy start to the season, is it, for eBay Motors?
No, it really isn't. They've had 2 cars out already in this first session, with Nick Foster not making the start. But yeah, Dave Newsham, I expect him to do well this year. He's already shown some pace, and of course he was the pole sitter here last year. This is giving the teams a good opportunity to warm the tyres up, but let's see if we can get down and have a word with Andrew Jordan.
Andrew running in 3rd place at the moment. Andrew, David in the commentary box. It was a good start, but Rob on those soft tyres managed to find a way past you.
Yeah, we struggled getting tyre temperature up anyway. We thought Plato would be a bit better with his longer wheelbase, but obviously Austin's on the softs, so yeah, we knew that would be the case. So it's a long race yet, and those softs will be going off, I reckon.
And now behind the safety car, it's a case of weaving around, is it, and trying to keep that warmth in the tyres?
Yeah, keep them all up to temperature, and the brakes also, but safety car's in, so I'll catch you later.
So the safety car is going to be in this time. We'll leave Andrew to his work because the lights are out on top of the safety car. You can see the Pertec Racing Honda in 3rd place, and Tim, that weaving is getting ever more aggressive now as the drivers get themselves ready for the restart.
Yeah, and Plato's the one that's looking very, very racy, isn't he? That car already got its tyres up to temperature. He's just waiting for Rob to press the loud pedal. He's not weaving. He knows Rob will just go when he wants to, and Plato's right up behind him. He's waiting, and Rob's gone. Plato, a good even start at the front.
So the cars accelerate out of Clark Curve, up over the timing line. Rob Austin in the yellow Audi leads. Jason Plato lines up to have a look on the outside. Now is that going to give him an opportunity as they head into Paddock Hill Bend? Lower down the order, Sam Tordoff looking to try to gain ground as well. Austin holds the lead coming out of Paddock. Plato behind him, Jordan third, and then there's a real traffic jam for 4th. Everybody stacked up, look behind Matt Neal, and Gordon Shedden tries to go around the outside. Tordoff also forced out wide as Matt Jackson in the Airwaves Focus looks for a way past him.
Yes, it looked like he was trying to go around the outside. Gordon Shedden there. I was going to say the smoke had desisted from Matt Neal's car a little bit, but it's still there, but certainly not dramatic, just when he leans on the car going around the corner, but I don't think that's too bad.
The new race distance, 27 laps because of the safety car period. This is the end of lap 7 as they work their way up out of Clark Curve. Austin, Plato, then Jordan, then this gap that's opening up. It does look a little bit as though Matt Neal is holding up those behind because he's certainly falling away from the leading 3.
Yeah, he hasn't got the initial pace that we'd have expected from the 2 Works Hondas. They've fallen back. I mean, I did predict Shedden to win, but he's got some work to do. Here we are on board with him, and he's going to look round the outside now. That's there's no way there through there, so he tucks back and online, but plenty more laps to go in this race. Plato is right up behind Rob Austin, though, at the front.
But Jason has got to be mindful that while he's attacking for the lead, he doesn't leave the door open and give Andrew Jordan a chance to challenge for that 2nd place. Here are the 3 leaders. Jordan there, 3rd. Through Surtees up towards McLaren, then to Clearways, and it's Rob Austin leading. Jason Plato with a slightly tighter line, trying to hunt him down. If he gets a good run out of Clark Curve, maybe he can attack as they head over the line in towards Paddock. Andrew Jordan 3rd, just dropping back ever so slightly this time. And now Jason Plato does have a look. He goes to the inside, heading into Paddock. Can the MG find a way through? Not this time. Rob Austin sticks out his elbows and hangs on to the lead.
Yeah, it looks as though the MG's got a slight straight line advantage, but the team would have told Jason that Rob is on soft tyres. So the reason they'll have told him is because they'll be expecting those tyres to go off fairly soon. So they're telling him probably to be a little bit patient. Don't risk it now because Rob is going to fight tooth and nail for the lead, but give it a few laps and he might be a sitting duck. And I think Andrew Jordan is, again, just waiting and biding his time.
So Jordan 3rd, heads up now towards Clearways, lower down the order. Frank Raffle from last on the grid is up to 11th place. Tremendous work going on by Frank Raffle. He's also set the fastest lap of the race thus far. Last time it was a 1/10 of a second between Rob Austin and Jason Plato when they came over the line. This time, as they break the timing beam, it's up to 2/10 of a second, and again, Jason applying heaps of pressure, and the Audi just has a little wobble as it turns into paddock. There, Jordan third, and look at the gap between the top three, and then Matt Neal, Sam Tordoff and Gordon Shedden, 4th, 5th and 6th.
Yeah, but I think those three actually could catch up the first three if and when the tyres start going off on Rob Austin's car. If Plato doesn't get past quickly at that point, they'll all close up together.
Frank Rathel into the top 10. Matt Neal runs a little bit wide at Graham Hill Bend and goes over the curbs, and now Sam Tordoff is the one to watch because he is trying to make a move for 4th place as Rob Austin turns his way out of clearways. Jason Plato has a big bite of curb, doesn't he, there? And Matt Neal is under huge pressure for that 4th place.
Yeah, Sam Tordoff there is he's in the middle of that group as that sandwich. There's Rathel. Wow, he's up alongside Adam Morgan. He really has made dramatic progress, hasn't he? That safety car helped him after the first lap as well.
Absolutely right. That's for 9th place. Frank Rathel goes through on the inside. His next target is Jeff Smith, and Jeff Smith is stuck for the moment behind Matt Jackson as there Gordon Shedden pulls out to try to find a way past Tordoff. But still, it looks as though Matt Neal's holding them up. He's dropping away from the top three, and look at this traffic jam that's stacked up behind him.
Yeah, it's very unusual. Matt really is holding that whole crew up, and he's dropping further and further behind the front three. So I wonder whether he has got more damage than we perhaps realised on the rear of that car. Perhaps the tracking is out or something. Look, Tordoff's looking very, very hard up the inside. Little bit of tapping up the inside. He's got inside. Well, blimey, he's driving like a veteran, is it? Oh, Shedden up the inside as well.
Gordon gets squeezed. He's on the grass. He's back on the black bit. That could have spelled disaster. That's going to compromise Gordon's run on Brabham Straight, and it means now that Matt Jackson attacks on the outside, heading up towards paddock. He can't find a way through. Rathel behind them is 8th from the very back of the grid. Tremendous drive this by a man who won here at the end of last year.
Yeah, that was the two Dynamics cars side by side. I don't think Matt Neal realised that Gordon was there. He would not have intentionally put his teammate on the grass at that point. That's 115 miles an hour. So I don't think he'd have done that deliberately. I just don't think he realised he was there.
Up front, Rob Austin and Jason Plato, still in that order, but they are trading the fastest lap of the race. Austin is leading. Jason Plato now is the quickest man on the circuit, and this is Shedden's view of that little bit of contact up the road that forced Matt Neal out wide. He moved across, and Gordon almost ends up in the pit lane. Yeah, he does, and he lifted off 2 or 3 times there. Matt was just coming back across. I don't think he realised he was there. But, you know, I have to say, Rob Austin is hanging on very well the lap times. He's just set the fastest lap of the race. He's hanging on really well. I love watching Rob drive. You know, he's all action. Oh, that's Rathel through now on Jackson. That's right. That's for 7th place. And Gordon Shedden has found a way past Matt Neal now, so that puts him up into 5th place. And I would imagine that Gordon Shedden will be able to pull away from Matt Neal and perhaps do something now about Sam Tordoff ahead of him. Now, what about this drive by Frank Rathel? Because he's found himself a way into 7th place and he is still charging. Colin Turkington is 11th, but Rathel is going great guns as Rob Austin, with the fastest lap of the race to his credit, leads the way. Damage you can see on the right rear corner of Frank Rathel's Toyota, powering his way now through Clark Curve. Here's the lead fight. Jason Plato looks for the outside line, going up towards paddock, and Andrew Jordan is getting closer and closer and closer. Yeah, I think Jason's decided now's the time to strike. He's got enough up the inside. Yes, nice clean move. He just did exactly what we thought. Waited for Rob Austin's tyres to perhaps go past their best, and now he put the hammer down. But Andrew Jordan has got to get past Rob Austin before Jason Plato pulls out a gap, hasn't he? Because then, even if he can get past the Audi, Andrew would find it very hard, I think, to come back at the race leader. So Jason Plato is up front and goes now through Surtees up towards Clearways. Is he going to shake off Rob Austin? Here comes Jordan up the inside. Wasn't quite a Honda-sized gap. He backs out of it, and Rob Austin hangs on to 2nd place. Yeah, I hope we stay on board now. We can sort of see down the straight, the relative strength. I think the Honda and the Audi very similar down the straight, actually. But look at the braking and the cornering speed of Andrew Jordan. He's definitely now got a bit more grip. Look, he's got more lateral grip mid-corner. He can really carry the speed there and close up again on the brakes. But Rob Austin moves across to the inside, so there's no chance for Andrew to dive up the inside at Druids. The gap between Jason Plato and Rob Austin was 0.4 of a second, and Jason therefore is getting away. So Andrew Jordan will know exactly what the score is, and that is he has got to find a way past Austin, and he's got to do it soon. Yes, and behind them, in fact, Tordoff holding a very good 4th, but Shedden is now running quickly, and those two are going to be very close together, battling for 4th place. So Rob Austin, tyres going off a little, is still doing a great job of hanging onto that second place. The tyres may have lost their edge, but he's still second, and he's still hanging onto that place, as now we've got a car heading into the pit lane, which looks like one of the Honda Yuasa Racing Civics. It is. Matt Neal down the pit lane, so we saw the smoke, we saw a bit of damage as well, and, sorry, not Matt Neal, Gordon Shedden it is who comes down the pit lane. So Shedden, who was making progress, is the surprise out of all of that. Gordon Shedden it is who comes into the pit lane. Oh dear, reigning champion, who's never won in a touring car at Brands Hatch. And Matt Neal is in as well.
Yeah, Gordon doesn't have much luck, does he? I mean, last year he... Well, both Hondas are in the pits. I can see out of the window, both Hondas in the pits. But Gordon, look, what an incredible situation. Team's champion, champion driver, both in the pits.
There was lots of grass on the pit lane that looks like it's dropped out of the bottom of Gordon Shedden's car. He rejoins ahead of Matt Neal, so both have been in, both rejoined, and they've got a lap down. Look, that was the leading trio flashing past. So Plato, Austin, Jordan remains the order, and that is Warren Scott spinning coming out of Graham Hill Bend, the former bike racer. But Gordon Shedden and Matt Neal are now a lap behind, and that's not something you say very often in a touring car race.
No, it certainly isn't. But I'll tell you what I think happened to Shedden. When he went on the grass and did that grass cutting thing, he obviously collected a load of grass in the engine inlet, the radiator inlet, and the car must have been overheating. So the team called him in to clear that grass out, because otherwise he'd have overheated. Collard going back out to see if his car's okay.
Jeff Smith, in the meantime, is being warned about exceeding the track limits now. As the leaders come out of Clark Curve at the end of lap 17, Jason Plato still leads the way. He's half a second up on Rob Austin, but Andrew Jordan is finding this a much tougher fight to get second place than perhaps he'd anticipated.
Yeah, he is, but similarly, Plato hasn't disappeared up the road. Look, there's not much difference between them. So far from disappearing, he's only just got a small lead, and Rob Austin is still maintaining a very good pace.
The second of the cars on soft tyres is Adam Morgan. He's 7th. Then you've got Colin Turkington, who is 9th. So Jason Plato on lap 18 leads the way. All that dust being kicked up was by Andrew Jordan, running wide. The commitment's certainly there, isn't it, as he tries to find himself on the back of Rob Austin to challenge for second place. And Jason Plato turns his way through clearways. A much tighter line there than the line of Rob Austin in the Audi, which twitches a little bit as he puts down the power.
Yeah, the front-wheel drive cars tend to turn into the corner a little bit earlier, whereas the rear-wheel drive turn in later and square the corner off, and then use the rear-wheel drive traction to power off the corner. So you will see a difference in lines between the cars. They all use all of the road on the exit there and nearly the gravel trap. But look, Jordan's getting right up behind now. He's getting a bit frustrated, I think.
Meantime, Frank Raffel is still busy. He's running in 5th place. Behind is the lapped car of Matt Neal. There's Raffel making his way towards the Druids. Turns his way through the hairpin. And Jeff Smith behind, running in 6th spot, of course, looking for a way past a car that's out of sequence, and Matt Neal lets him go. So Jeff Smith, unimpeded now, can carry on this fight for 5th spot. He's hunting down Frank Raffel, or hunting him down again, because, of course, he was ahead of the orange Toyota a little while ago. There's Adam Morgan, behind him is Matt Jackson, and Andrew Jordan is through for second place. So he's got himself past Rob Austin. He comes up to complete lap 19. Can he do anything about Jason Plato?
Well, I think he can. I still think he's got the pace. I think he has. Here's the classic overtaking mover, slips up the inside, leaves the braking a bit late, gets cleanly alongside, blocks off the corner so Rob Austin can't come in, and then squirts out. So a very nice, clean move there. And clearly Shedden has got good pace, because Shedden is now running behind them. He probably fancies unlapping himself, but I'm not sure he'll be allowed to do that. But in the group behind, Turkington is working his way through. If the camera just stays there, we will see further back. Turkington is working his way through the group. He's into 9th at the moment. Here he is, on board with Turkington, right up behind Matt Jackson. Now, at this stage of the race, the BMW's got his tyres working up to temperature. If the cars in front are losing any, then he'll be gaining a speed advantage at this point in the race. He did run wide, though, further wide than a rear-wheel drive car really should do at clearways, and you can see the gap has gone out to Jackson in front.
And that pace you're talking about from Gordon Shedden, of course, if he can get the fastest lap of the race, there's a point for that. So it's damage limitation. He won't score if he's not in the top 15. At the moment, he is 20th, but fastest lap point would certainly be useful, bearing in mind it's a 30-race championship. It's a long old season. In 9th place is Colin Turkington, and there slowing is Matt Jackson coming out of Druids. He pulls to one side. Turkington's up to 8th. It's not been a great weekend for Airwaves Racing, I'm sad to say. Local team, Motorbase, and Matt Jackson drives onto the grass, back onto the tarmac, He's heading for the pit lane, and he's heading for retirement.
Yeah, it's got shades of last year when Matt had 2 electrical problems. I remember at Silverstone leading the race and the car cut out. I think at the time it was a throttle potentiometer problem. The car just cut out. So I hope it's not a repeat of those problems.
The lead gap is coming down ever so slightly because Andrew Jordan last time did a personal best lap. He's brought the gap down from 1.3 seconds to 1.1. So Andrew, the man that started on pole position, is doing all he can to deprive Jason Plato of a 75th touring car victory. And remember that this is Andrew's 150th race, so it'll be quite a nice one for him to score an outright win. The reigning independence champion, and under braking there for clearways, he does close a little bit more onto the back of the MG.
Yeah, he took 2 tenths out of him on the last lap, but I've seen this before and thought, oh, Plato's going to be under pressure, and in actual fact it's just him managing the race. He's so good at managing the gap. Remember, you only have to win the race in the slowest possible time. You don't have to win it by miles, and Plato's an expert at that.
Gap down again though, 0.9 of a second. Andrew Jordan still doing all he can to get onto terms with the MG. He out-qualified Jason Plato. Jason complaining after qualifying of being held up in traffic and of 1 or 2 people not really looking in their mirrors. Remember that the race order at the end of this determines the grid for race 2. So the battle with ballast as well on the cars for race 2 will be continued between these two who are looking at Plato and Jordan. There's Jason's dad in the 888 garage. Jason Plato leads by 9/10 of a second. Nick Foster has just joined the race for an extended test session now to try to sort out any problems on that BMW ready for race 2. Now, last time, 9/10, split the leaders. This time, as they go over the line, the gap is down to 0.7 of a second. Ollie Jackson there, currently in 11th place. Dan Welch ahead of him in the top 10. Dan has driven well in this, and behind the pair is Will Bratt in the second of the Rob Austin Racing Audis.
Yeah, it's a good little battle this between these guys. Will Bratt, a former single-seater European Formula 3000 champion who had a part season last year with Rob Austin Racing and hoping to do the full year this time.
We're on lap 24 out of the 27, extended because of that safety car period. Will Bratt runs wide, going out of paddock. Dan Welch defends. Ollie Jackson tries to go all the way around the outside of Druids. It's not going to work for him. He's also got to make sure he doesn't give Will Bratt a chance to challenge coming out of the corner. Round the outside of Graham Hill Bend goes Jackson. Is that going to work? Yes, it is. Great move. Does he go too wide? They're level onto Cooper Straight. Dan Welch has the inside line for the next corner. Great racing this.
This is great side-by-side racing there, and they really showed a lot of respect for each other at this early stage of the year, as now all 3 get together. As soon as I say that, there's a lot of respect. They come together, don't they?
Define respect, yeah. So a little bit of leaning on one another, going through clearways. Dan Welch hangs on to 10th place. Over the line he goes. That Proton going much better today than yesterday.
Yeah, and further behind these two, just behind these two, Lee Wood is leading the class for the Jack Sears Trophy cars. He's just been passed by James Kay on that lap, so James Kay leads it. But back to the leaders, and look, Jordan is right up behind Plato.
The gap has been coming down and down and down from 1.3 seconds when Andrew first got himself up into second spot. Now it's down to 4/10 only as they go across the line. But of course, Jordan's running out of laps here. Jason Plato leads the way. There's a bit of traffic up the road as well. Is that going to have an impact on this race? Jason Plato, Andrew Jordan, and then Rob Austin, the top 3. Rob, remember, on the soft tyres, and he is being caught now by Sam Tornoff. Is he going to hang on to a podium finish?
Yeah, the soft tyre definitely going off on that Audi now, because Tornoff nearly a second quicker on that lap and only 3.8 seconds behind.
So Jason Plato turns his way towards clearways. Andrew Jordan closing right up again. Both of them using lots of curb on the inside. Now is Jordan close enough to challenge as they come up towards paddock this time? Let's see. The MG leads the Honda over the timing line. 4/10 split them last time on this lap, with the traffic getting ever closer to them up the road, and there's debris on the track as well. Half a second. David Nye is the back marker with his Super 2000 Ford. At any moment now, he's going to find Jason Plato filling his mirrors, but Andrew Jordan has closed up again, going into Druids, and this is the last lap. Andrew is running out of options.
He is. I think Plato has been controlling this race, has been controlling the gap. He's a canny old fox, and he'll be delighted to start his season off with a win. Of course, he did win here last year in the 3rd race, but the team much more organised, much more prepared this year. Andrew Jordan, also a great result.
And he goes, inside, and there's contact, and that turns around Jason, and they're both off, both into the gravel. Jason nails his foot to the floor. Now, where's Rob Austin in all of that? Has he found a way through? I don't think he has. Jason Plato gets himself back onto the tarmac. Andrew Jordan gets himself back onto the tarmac. They make their way up towards the line, and Jason Plato, despite all of the drama, comes across the line to take the race win. Andrew Jordan ends up second. And the debate between the two has only just begun, hasn't it? This, I suspect, might earn them a trip to the clerk of the course after that. You could see what Andrew Jordan's plan was, to dive up the inside. There was a gap, but he had to make it.
Well, yeah, it came from a long way back. I didn't think there was a room there, although obviously it's his favoured overtaking place. And look at that, look at the car. Look at the MG crabbing down the road. It's not going in a straight line, so clearly the right rear has been knocked, the tracking's been knocked out, and you can see the wheel there at the wrong angle. I mean, we have a new clerk of the course this year. We have Ian Watson, who doesn't take any prisoners, so we'll be interested to see his view of that, but at least they finished in the order that they were.
Well, there is Andrew Jordan then. He finished in second place, and he gave it everything, it's fair to say, on that last corner. As I say, there was just about a gap, but that was only because he made that gap. Let's have a look, Tim.
Yeah, he's committed himself, but he's come from quite a long way back. There isn't really room there. Plato does a great job of getting the power on and saving it, and they both managed to get through the gravel before else. This is at full speed. Jordan has already committed himself. He's decided he's doing it, but Plato's covered the inside, really, and there just isn't room.
And both of them then able to accelerate out of the gravel. But Jason Plato, in this crab-like MG, hangs on to take a 75th career victory to win the opening round of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship for 2013. And let's just have a look and see what his reaction is going to be when he sees Andrew Jordan clamber out of the car. On board with Jordan here.
He's committed. Yeah, look, there just wasn't enough room. It was quite a big whack up the back. I'm glad that... Oh, and actually Jordan had to bounce it off the tyre barrier to keep it going. Yeah, you know, you've got to go for it, haven't you? It's the last lap, it's touring cars, but here's the result.
Jason Plato somehow hangs on to win from Andrew Jordan, and Rob Austin on the soft tyres takes third, ahead of Sam Tordoff and then Jeff Smith. Frank Raffle sixth from last on the grid, ahead of Adam Morgan. Colin Turkington from the back finishes eighth, Aaron Smith ninth, and Ollie Jackson rounds out the top 10. Daniel Welch eventually 11th, ahead of Will Bratt, and Jack Goff in a car that had damage yesterday finishes 13th, ahead of Tom Onslow Cole. James Kay, the best of those in the Jack Sears Trophy, ahead of Lee Wood, then Liam Griffin and David Nye. Gordon Shedden a lap down and 19th, Matt Jackson in trouble, classified 20th.
Some have gone for soft tyres. The ultimate gamble would be snow tyres. Freezing temperatures for round two of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship here at Brands Hatch. Tim Harvey and David Addison, your commentators.
So round two of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship is about to get underway, and you're looking at a grid that's a bit like Gruyere cheese. It's full of holes because some cars haven't made it out. Some, like Jack Goff's car, have been pushed into the pits, and Tom Onslow Cole is making his way down the pit lane. He will start at the back of the grid. As the green flag is waved, everybody accelerates away. And Jack Goff, we understand, has got a hole in the radiator. It's been a dreadful weekend for the Tony Gillen Racing team. New cars, untried, untested, and an accident for Jack Goff yesterday put them on the back foot, and another sleepless night. Well, let's have a look at how the grid should line up. Jason Plato, as the race one winner, is on pole. Andrew Jordan lines up with him. Rob Austin third, and then Sam Tordoff on soft tyres, as you've heard, is fourth, ahead of Jeff Smith and then Frank Raffle. Adam Morgan is seventh, Colin Turkington eighth, then Aaron Smith and Ollie Jackson on the soft tyres. Dan Welch likewise, and Will Bratt in the second Audi, he goes soft as well. Jack Goff's in the pit lane. Tom Onslow Cole will start at the back, ahead of James Kay, Lee Wood, Liam Griffin and David Nye in terms of the original grid order. And then how about this? Gordon Shedden, Matt Jackson and Matt Neal with a lot of work to do, ahead of Warren Scott, Nick Foster and Rob Collard also way back on the grid. He's going to be busy. So too is Dave Newsham, and James Cole, after a trip into the gravel in race one, is the man last on the grid for race two. So drivers weaving around, trying to get some warmth into the tyres. And don't forget, they get 2 green flag laps as well before the start of round 2 of the championship. It's a very short lap, Brands Hatch, just 1.2 miles. So those 2 laps on safety grounds essential. So they've got as much opportunity as possible to put warmth into the rubber. And there is Adam Morgan. Well, after a really checkered season last year, a very good first race. He managed to bring the car home in 7th. And let's try and have a word with Adam now, as he weaves the car around, getting warmth into the tyres. Adam, David in the commentary box. Good first race for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, very good race. Happy with a top 10 first race of the season, so looking to repeat it in the second one.
Now tell us, you ran that soft tyre in the first race, front-wheel drive car on the soft tyre. How did it hold up?
It was okay, to be honest. I didn't quite maximise the potential of the tyres to begin with, but I was held up in traffic, but there was quite a bit of drop-off towards the end, so hopefully we're now on the medium tyres, it should be okay.
And in the last few minutes we've had a bit of snow falling, but you've got rallying in your background. Snow's not a problem, is it?
Not if I was in rear-wheel drive, no, but in the front-wheel drive it's a bit different, but we'll give it a go. It's interesting conditions for everyone.
Have a good race, Adam. Thanks very much.
Cheers, David.
Adam Morgan then, certainly a man to watch. And that first race, Tim, I think would have been great for his confidence, because so often last year Adam was in gravel or in barriers and with a damaged car, and a good, solid first round of the championship would have done his confidence a power of good.
Yeah, absolutely. And now with his family-run team, he's got a chance to put all that into practice. On board with Andrew Jordan there, who just got away with that contact with Plato, with no action taken by the clerk of the course. And I think we have to watch out again for Rob Austin, because he's starting on the second row of the grid. He could easily be in the lead, and he had good pace in that first race. Now he's on the medium tyre. That pace may be able to run to the end. But of course, this is the first race now with championship ballast added as a result of the first race. So Plato is now 45 kilos heavier, Andrew Jordan 36 kilos, Rob Austin 27, Tordoff 18, and Jeff Smith 9. So the guy to watch out for, who's very quick in that first race, is Frank Rathel, because he's the first car with no ballast added.
So Will Bratt we've just seen come into the pit lane. So there you can see the team, Rob Austin Racing Mechanics, looking underneath the back of the car. Will Bratt then on soft tyres. He's going to end up starting the race from the pit lane. Jason Plato, meantime, is on pole position. Blimey, even on the final warming up lap, there's still drama before round 2 of the championship. The last handful of cars make their way out of Clark Curve, ready to form up on this grid. You can see where the gaps are, with more and more people ending up in the pit lane. At least that gets them out of any potential first corner accidents. And at the back of the grid is going to be now Tom Onslow Cole, having joined in from the pit lane. And Will Bratt, look, they're getting out of the Audi. So big problems for Will Bratt. Looks like he's going to be a non-starter. The grid is formed, ready for round 2 of the championship here on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. The drivers now look towards the lights, which any moment will blink red. When the lights go out, we are going to be in business. The lights go out now, away they go, and another demon getaway from Rob Austin, who splits the front row drivers. Andrew Jordan goes backwards, Jason Plato's got the inside line, and Rob Austin braves it out with him, diving into paddock. Can he go all the way around the outside of Plato? He can't, but he's having a good go, heading up towards Druids.
Plato was brave there. He leant on the rear in paddock and trusted it would stick. It's not sticking at Druids. He's had a bit of a slide there, but he's held the lead.
So Plato leads down towards Graham Hill Bend, bit of rubbing in the background. I think Matt Jackson's a man in a hurry, and Adam Morgan was in that mix as well. So on to Cooper Straight for the first time, and way wide has gone Adam Morgan. Oh dear, he's back on track, but he's lost a whole heap of places out of that.
Yeah, he carried a lot of speed into Graham Hill, and the right rear just let go. The right rear is the coldest tyre on the car, because it's on the inside, and Graham Hill is the first time you lean on it, and you just trust to luck that it's going to stick.
Here they come, up towards the end of lap number 1. Aaron Smith in the leading airways, racing forward. He's going great guns, so Plato leads the way. Rob Austin is second, third is Andrew Jordan. And look at Raffle on the inside, and there's contact. He turns Turkington sideways, and off goes Colin. The former champion is in the gravel. He's nailed his foot to the floor. He's going to dig the BMW out the other side, but that means he tumbles down the order.
Oh dear, that just goes from bad to worse, doesn't it, for Colin Turkington? After all the hard work he put in the first race to get up through the grid, he's now been off. Fortunately, he stayed in the race, and obviously with a potential safety car later on, that could actually work in his favour. But Rathel was looking up the inside. One of the Airwaves cars, that's Aaron Smith.
Slowing right down, look on Cooper Straight, limping towards Surtees. That's bound for the pit lane then at the end of this lap. It's not been a great weekend for Dave Bartram's team, has it? As Jason Plato leads the way up towards the end of lap 2. And let's have a look at this incident coming into Graham Hill Bend. Adam Morgan getting it wrong, back wags, and he just runs onto the grass.
Yeah, he turned in, it seemed to be quite gently, but he just was off on the cold right rear. This is on board with Turkington, so Rathel is looking up the inside. Rathel's committed, there's not enough room there. There's a touch on the back of course, rear-wheel drive BMW, you just can't save it. Rathel was committed, but there just wasn't room, was there? So, fortunately, Turkington keeps going, but I dare say Rathel will be seeing the clerk of the course afterwards.
This is what we've just had with Jeff Smith and also Ollie Jackson going through the gravel, and Ollie Jackson loses it, goes across the road and crunch.
Oh, we didn't see that one, did we? We were just looking at the replay while that happened, but Ollie Jackson's limping the car back so the team could start on repairs. Look, both sides of the car damaged, rear tolling gone. Oh! This is Shedden in the #1 car. Remember, we're so used to seeing him in number 52, the number he's had all the way through his career, but really on a charge now, back up to the front. He's up behind Tornoff, and McNeil only 2 places behind.
So race order, Jason Plato leads Rob Austin, Andrew Jordan is 3rd ahead of Frank Raffel, Jeff Smith is 5th, and then this is the traffic jam for 6th, with Tornoff at the head of the queue. Dan Welch has dropped back 1 place because of the charge in Gordon Shedden. You've got Matt Jackson in there, you've got Matt Neal in there as well, and now Tornoff is being given a real workover, isn't he, by the reigning champion Gordon Shedden, who can't find a way past him, tries the outside, tries the inside, there's a gap now, he goes for it, coming out of Clearway, through Clark Curve, up on the inside, Gordon Shedden bags another place.
Yeah, this is Gordon Shedden, a fired-up champion with some work to do, and he's on a march, isn't he? It's one of those irrepressible charges to the front, and it's great to see when drivers get their heads stuck in and get on with it like that.
Sam Tornoff, who's not as experienced as those around him, is giving a good account of himself. Matt Neal now has a go at Dan Welch. Look, the Proton ahead of the Honda. Matt has the inside at Druids, but that's going to translate to the outside for Graham Hillben. No, not even that. Can't stay alongside, so he slots back in behind. You've got Matt Jackson and then Adam Morgan next in the queue.
Yeah, Shedden has actually made up 13 places already. Incredible charge in 4 laps. Collard retiring his car, so this is the trouble with learning about the NGTC car. We had this last year with AAA when they were learning about the MG, and unfortunately West Surrey in the same boat, but they will get that car quick, and I guarantee it'll win races this year.
Jason Plato has made good his escape, hasn't he? Because now the fight is on 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Austin here, Jordan, and then Frank Raffel. Behind them is Jeff Smith, 6th is Gordon Shedden, and 7th is the leading soft-tyred car in the hands of Sam Tornoff. So Jason Plato now is leading by 2.8 seconds, despite all of the success ballast, and Rob Austin is having to work very hard indeed to hang on to 2nd place. You're on board now with Andrew Jordan, Frank Raffel behind him, so Jordan's attacking and defending at the same time.
Yeah, but remember, Jordan's carrying 36 kilos now. We have to factor that in. That's usually about 0.3 of a second, even around a short circuit like this. The weight having a big effect when you stop and go, but he's looking up the inside, he's got the straight line speed, and Rob Austin leaves the door open. There's no fighting back now. Can Rathel capitalise? Oh, there's fighting back now, isn't there?
So Rob Austin thinks about the inside at Druids, and Raffel thinks about the outside against the Audi. There's no change in the order there, but Rob Austin now attacking and defending at the same time. He's going to have to just go defensive, isn't he? Andrew Jordan's got the car speed. He out-qualified him, don't forget. It was Andrew that started race 1 on pole position from that best qualifying lap. So the Honda now goes up to 2nd. Here comes Raffel. No ballast on the car. Inside line going into Surtees. Can't do it. Rob Austin certainly knows how to defend.
Yeah, he's a great racer, Rob, isn't he? I said in the first race, I love watching him race because, the car's always moving about, he's chasing the throttle, he's over the curves, doesn't give in easily. Love watching him race. What a character.
He said to me yesterday, I may not have as many wins as some in this pit lane, but I reckon I'm the most committed. It's hard to argue that, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly on the sideburns front, he is, yeah.
Very true, and at the moment he is dropping back from Andrew Jordan. He's in 3rd place, Rob Austin. There he is in the yellow Audi, and he's got the very distinctive orange Toyota of Frank Raffel tucked up behind him. And Gordon Shedden is 5th there. You can see him in the background. He's just relieved Jeff Smith of that place, and Shedden has done the fastest lap of the race. So how much higher up the order can the Scotsman get before the end of the race?
Well, I think he's going to possibly catch up quite quickly to the Rathel and Austin battle. I think he'll catch up with them quite quickly, but certainly Plato's made good his escape. 3.2 seconds over Andrew Jordan now.
this fight between Sam Tordoff and Dan Welch, and Matt Neal not being able to find his way through the traffic with the same ease that Gordon Shedden did. Matt, again, looking a bit subdued in this race.
Well, Matt had genuine reasons. His car was hobbled in race 1. I mean, he did have suspension damage. Raffle looking, has he done it? He's done it! Oh, not quite. I mean, Austin just goes a little bit... Oh, now he's done it. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. What a shame. Didn't like to see that. Rob Austin left room going in because he saw Raffle up the inside. And then, unfortunately, it was contact further around the corner. That is a shame.
So that shuffles the order. Whoops, Rob Austin nearly gets wiped out as he rejoins there, because bearing down on him was the Colin Turkington BMW. So Raffle doesn't make the move going into Druids, but he has a go now.
Yeah, there just wasn't room there, was there? Rob Austin was keeping out of the way on the way in, and Frank sort of read that as being there's a gap on the inside, but of course that gap closed up as Rob took his racing line, and on the rear-wheel drive car, a tap like that and you're round. On a front-wheel drive car, you can save it, but no way through there.
Now that's 2 strikes for Frank Raffle, isn't it? Because he's already had a go at Colin Turkington, now he's had a go at Rob Austin. He's going to have to be careful here, I would have thought. He's on the tail now of Jeff Smith, and the real beneficiary out of all of that was Gordon Shedden, who's up to 3rd place.
Yes, he is. Great move. And yeah, going back to Matt Neal, it is a little strange, because remember, that car is carrying no ballast at all at the moment. You really would expect it to be a good chunk quicker than it is, but maybe there's some other issues we don't know about. In the first race, he had that contact from Dave Newsham into the first corner, which hobbled the rear suspension. We saw the bodywork running on the car, and that's why he actually had to pit. So he has genuinely hobbled.
And also, that was the reason for the demise of Dave Newsham, because a wire came off the alternator and he lost power, and that's why the car stopped. They just had to reconnect the wire, and all was good. And Dave Newsham has got the car up into 12th place now in his recovery from near the back of the grid going into this race. Well, there's Jason Plato. Don't forget about him, because he's a rather dominant race leader just at the moment. 3.5 seconds ahead of Andrew Jordan. But Gordon Shedden, who is 3rd, is lapping quicker than the top 2. We're currently on lap 11 out of 24. It's MG from Honda, because Jeff Smith is 4th, but for how much longer? Frank Raffle, scrappy-doo as he's been likened this week in the motoring press because of his never-say-die attitude, is right there on the back of the Honda, and Raffle, despite getting involved in 2 incidents so far, the car looking a bit dog-eared, ballast-free, is still storming on.
Yeah, and also he's the lightest driver on the grid as well. Not that it makes any difference, because all the cars and drivers are ballasted up to the weight, but he weighed in at a tiny little 66.5 kilos in his race suit with his helmet, and notwithstanding the embarrassment, Ollie Jackson was the heaviest at 121 kilos, so quite a difference.
So Frank Raffle out of Druids, defending from Sam Tordoff, who's defending from Matt Neal. Behind them is Matt Jackson, who's also had a rather subdued weekend. It's not the way that Matt envisaged the season starting, of course, because they sacrificed the back end of last year to develop the NGTC Ford Focus going into 2013. But it really hasn't looked a stellar car all weekend, has it?
No, it's been very strange. Motor base based up in Rutan, just a mile up the road. Oh, and inside, Neal inside, Tordoff now leaning on him, coming out of clearways. He's managed to get his nose alongside. I think he'll have the inside for Paddock Hill Bend. Now remember, Tordoff is on the softer tyre, and he's going to start to struggle now towards the end of the race. I thought it'd be an interesting scenario of Tordoff's to do this, because if he can finish in the top 10 and get a reverse grid that puts him on the front for the final race, when all the other cars around him will have the soft tyre on, and he'll be back on the medium, and he'll have no ballast, he could have a really good chance for that 3rd race, but he's got to stay well inside the top 10.
Adam Morgan in the background, running wide over the curve, skimming the grass, coming out of Graham Hill Bend. And the driving standards flag is being offered to Dave Newsham, again for exceeding the track limits, and it's at Graham Hill Bend particularly where the officials are very keen on drivers staying, understandably, within the white lines. There's Adam Morgan coming out of Clark Curve, running in 9th place. There's a glimpse of an eBay Motors BMW in the pit lane there as well. Jeff Smith keeping Frank Raffle at bay. Jeff Smith, year on year, becomes a better and better driver in touring cars, doesn't he?
I'm really impressed with Jeff. I think he's, really solid support driver now to Andrew Jordan in his own right, very close on pace, very experienced, really drives a good race, and he's quick. But just going back to the motorbase situation, yeah, we expected a lot from them. They're motorbase based a mile down the road at the top of Rutan Hill, and Matt Jackson, a multiple race winner, but they just haven't hit the sweet spot this weekend in that fantastic looking Airwaves Focus.
And there's Jeff Smith coming under pressure from Frank Raffle, but he's, for a moment at least, withstanding this pressure, isn't he? Raffle is right there behind him. Matt Neal is joining in as well. Then it's Tornoff versus Matt Jackson as they come over the line. Past the pits, Jeff Smith, as Tim says, a good support driver to Andrew Jordan, but he's 4th overall, some support driver. Really going very strongly here this weekend. As they turn their way through Paddock Hill Bend, the gap between Smith and Raffle is only 0.4 of a second. And Smith now is having to go defensive, but look at Matt Neal. He's the real danger in this, isn't he, of course? Multiple champion. How long before he finds a way past the Toyota? And Raffle busy defending from Matt and still looking for a way past the Pertec Racing Honda just up the road ahead of him.
Yeah, it's a real battle here. A lot of cars running wide at Graham Hill, so we might see some more black and white warning flags. I saw Matt Jackson wide. He's pushing very hard at the back of this group.
Matt Neal thinks about a gap on the inside, but that wasn't an Andrew Jordan-sized gap there, so he backs out of it, sits behind as they come up towards the line. Where at the last lap, perhaps Matt might be a bit more committed to that, but there's still quite a long way to go.
Yeah, but there hasn't been the intensity in Matt's driving, has there? He hasn't been pushing his way through, knowing that he's got the pace to get through. He's barely just sort of hanging on to this group, so I think he knows that his car isn't quite right at the moment, and he's not going to force the issue with contact at the moment. He might do, as you say, later in the race, but it's not like Shedden. Shedden was pushing his way through. He knew he had the pace.
That said, Matt Neal is barely able to get any closer to the back of Frank Raffle's car, isn't he? Coming onto Cooper Straight, he's right there, virtually hidden under the rear wing as they go now into Surtees. Then up towards McLaren and Clearways. Matt Neal knows how to win championships, of course, in touring cars. He may not win every race, but he scores points very, very well. And Raffle goes wide there at Clearways, drops off the back of Smith, and now he's easy prey for Matt Neal. Let's see if Matt has got a good run out of Clark Curve. Can he attack going into Paddock? I don't think he's quite close enough, but here he comes. Looks to the inside. No, not quite near enough, is he?
No, but I tell you what, they build that car strong, don't they? Frank Raffle's team, because he's had contact with Turkington and he's had contact with Rob Austin, and the car's still looking quick.
Like a tank, indestructible for the moment at least. Down to Graham Hill Bend he comes. The Airways guys trying to get cars back into the race, if only so they can iron out problems in anticipation of race 3. Raffle still defending. Matt Neal right up behind him. Going through Surtees then. This is the battle for 5th place, and we're on lap 17 out of 24 on the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, round 2 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship. Through Clark Curve up towards the line, and the race leaders, still the order Plato, Jordan and Shedden, are going to come across traffic pretty soon. Jeff Smith, though, very impressive run this.
Yeah, it's a great race, a really good race. And I remember how delighted he was getting on the podium and up at Knockhill last year. And, you know, he could win a race easily this year. Another one. There's so many that could win races.
Go along with that. And this gap, 2nd to 3rd, is coming down. It's just over a second between Andrew Jordan and Gordon Shedden. Now, Shedden, of course, is ballast free, and he's closing on Jordan as they work their way now through lap number 18. There is Sheds, the reigning champion, and he's hunting down Andrew Jordan. Wheel lifting through Clearways. There is Jordan ahead of him, and now he can focus on the back of the blue Honda ahead of him, and that's going to motivate him even more.
Yeah, it certainly is, and the gap is closing down, as you say. So 3.9 seconds Plato to Jordan, but only 0.8 of a second between Jordan and Shedden.
Shedden started, remember, 19th on the grid. Now we've got a driving standards flag going to Jeff Smith for exceeding the track limit. Andrew Jordan's going to have to work pretty hard, I think, before the end of this race to hang on to that 2nd place, because inexorably now Gordon Shedden is closing up onto the back of Andrew. Jason Plato still nearly 4 seconds to the good up front. Despite the extra weight, the MG in this middle race at Brands Hatch has been the dominant car.
Yeah, it has. I mean, Jason has a really good touch and feel for carrying that extra weight. It's, you know, it really does humble the car on the brakes, the tyres, the acceleration, but he's got a gentle touch behind the wheel. Might have an aggressive touch at times, but he's got a gentle touch for the tyres, and he can carry that weight very, very well. Here's on board looking at Andrew Jordan's feet. Look, he's left foot braking, down the gearbox, easing off the brake as he comes out of Druids, then picking up the throttle. Look how quickly it goes to full throttle. As soon as that car's straining up and he can feel the... Oh, David Nye in the gravel. I think that's Druids as well. He may have been trying to keep out of the way and got on the dirty part of the track. And look, you can see where he's locked up and gone straight on.
Now, is that car going to be far enough out of the way so we don't need a safety? Oh, it's contact. No. He's gone over the back wheel arch of Warren Scott's Seat, look. That second place battle, no, fourth place battle rather, was behind, but David Nye makes contact and that fires him off into the gravel. And the safety car has been deployed, and Jason Plato's big lead is now just a memory.
Yes, that's going to make the last bit of the race exciting. Alan Gow seeing the opportunity perhaps for a bit of excitement here for the end of this race too. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's good. Jason will be really annoyed about that actually, because he built up a very comfortable lead and he could have stroked it home, but not now.
Shame that really, hey?
Yes.
Somebody annoying Jason, gosh. So he was the leader by a healthy margin. That gap is now, of course, going to come right down. And this also puts Gordon Shedden right onto the tail of Andrew Jordan, ready for the restart. So the race will be extended, dependent upon how many safety car laps we have. It shouldn't take that long, I wouldn't have thought, to get David Nye's car out of the gravel. Everybody, as we know, will now weave around to keep the warmth in the tyres. Jason Plato is going to be a busy man on the restart.
Yeah, we saw Gordon having a little drink there. He's got his electrolyte drink full of salts and electrolytes in the car, and he just takes this opportunity to have a drink, freshen himself up and think about the restart. So good opportunity for drivers to do that. They know the races aren't very long, but they're actually quite warm inside the cars. They're the warmest people here at Brands this weekend actually. So just keeping the tyres not so much up to temperature, but just making sure there's no pickup on the tyres, because at this stage of the race the tyres are plenty hot enough, but by weaving about they stop the little bits of rubber, the marbles on the track, being stuck to it. So they're just keeping the tyre clear.
Now let's try and have a word with Gordon Shedden if we can. Gordon running third from 19th on the grid. How about that, Flash? What a race.
Yeah, it's all been kicking off quite a bit, lots of different things happening, but making good progress so far. I think we'll only have 4 or 5 laps to go after the safety car's in, so let's see if we can get any further.
Now this puts you right on the tail of Andrew, so as soon as you can go racing once again, you're going to have to make that move at paddock, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll go on it as soon as we can.
Good luck, Gordon. So Gordon Shedden is running in third place at the moment, and the safety car is making its way through Clark Kerr, but the lights are still on, so it's not yet a clear circuit up at Druids, and Jason Plato could barely get any closer to the back of the safety car.
Yeah, Jason wants that safety car to go a lot faster than it is doing. He wants the race lap count down, and he wants the safety car to keep its speed up, but of course the safety car doesn't want to do too many laps, and no, we've got that car moved to the other side of the road. Is that a safer place? I'm not sure if it is really. No, it's not really, because the problem with that is a car approaching Druids getting on the grass could T-bone that car and have a massive accident. I think what's happened there is the steering is broken. As they've towed it backwards, it's been unable to steer and get out the way. So they may have to cover that with a stationary yellow. I'm not sure, but I don't like the position of that car.
Well, the race has been extended to 27 laps because of this safety car period. You add on 3 laps. If you have that many behind the safety car, after that the laps start to eat into the overall distance. Jason Plato leads this man, Andrew Jordan, who might be tempted to have another last lap dive. So Plato, Jordan, Shedden is the order. Jeff Smith 4th, Frank Raffle 5th, Matt Neal 6th. It may not have been the most obvious progress, if you like, from Matt. It's been a fairly modest drive, but he has made progress and he has gained places, and therefore he is scoring pretty well out of this, Tim.
Yeah, he is. At least he's getting something out of it, even if the car isn't right, and that's the thing to do. But Shedden has shown that car has got pace, and of course Andrew Jordan and the Pertec run car's quick. We're on board with Turkington, who's down in 10th place after that off at the start. Hasn't made so much progress forwards, but could of course be the beneficiary of the reverse grid. Anything from 6th to 10th could be on pole at the end of this race for race 3 with the reverse grid draw. So Turkington's still in with a shout of that. Look, Plato's virtually overtaking them. He'll be spitting feathers about this. Come on, he's going.
Well, they're running out of laps, aren't they? So Jason knows that when the race restarts, he's going to have to go defensive for at least the first 2 or 3 corners. There is David Nye's car out of harm's way. That's the good news. So we're not far off going racing. The safety car is there. The lights are still on. When they're extinguished, it'll come into the pit lane.
It's just a bit too late to switch them off, unfortunately, for the start of this lap. It's just too late. But hopefully the safety car pick up a little bit of speed on this lap. Lights could go out any minute now, and everyone will be knowing they're going back to racing at the end of this lap. The team managers will be on the radio saying, right, come on guys, get ready. The lights still haven't gone out yet, but the car's definitely out of the way.
Maybe once more past the incident zone to show everybody, and then the lights will go out. Let's wait and see. This was the corner at which David Nye went into the gravel, and we are now on lap 25 of 27, so it's going to be a short, sharp restart, isn't it?
Certainly will be, but and the lights are on. Good. Right, let's prepare ourselves. Let's see how Jason Plato handles this restart. Andrew Jordan will definitely attack, and so will Shedden.
Jason now starts to bunch everybody up. This is Andrew Jordan's view. So Jason stacks them all up behind him, and then he will start to accelerate. Once you've started to accelerate, you've got to keep going. You can't accelerate and then brake, otherwise it becomes very dangerous behind. So, getting ready for the restart.
He's already gone. He's already gone. Jason's already gone. Nice and early.
Safety car peels in. Jason Plato accelerates away. So this is the end of lap 25 of a 27-lap race at Brands Hatch, and he's pulled a gap over the timing line. We're back in business as they go up towards Paddock Hill Bend. 7/10 is the margin. Raffle attacks Smith. Matt Neal's right up behind them as they go through Paddock, and Jeff Smith is under huge pressure. The real question in the top three is whether Jordan can hang on ahead of Gordon Shedden. And look at this, Smith and Raffle, and there's contact. Off goes the Toyota. Matt Neal got involved in that, but Frank Raffle is off the road. He's in the gravel, and that's where David Nye was and caused a safety car. Well, safety cars sometimes breed safety cars with everybody tightly bunched, and I'm afraid that Frank Raffle, after being involved in two earlier incidents, now finds himself spat off the road.
Yeah, Raffle was trapped behind Jeff Smith, so Matt Neal went to the outside, and there was just convergence in the braking area, and unfortunately it turned Raffle round. But Shedden is pushing Jordan very hard. It was a great restart by Plato. He backed them up and then went early and got a really good jump. And now with Shedden pressurising Jordan, Jordan will not give him any space at all. They may be in similar cars, but Jordan is fighting for himself.
And here's the yellow flag zone look, so no overtaking at Druids. Dust in the background. That was Jeff Smith going wide. And he's under big pressure from Sam Tornoff and then Matt Neal. Colin Turkington there being attacked by Dave Newsham for 9th and 10th places. Everywhere you look, there's a battle, but Jason Plato's getting away from Jordan on this, the last lap, and it looks as though win 76 is coming Jason's way.
Yeah, Matt Neal alongside Tornoff. He's got the inside there. That's a crucial place. That's for 5th place. Oh, and now he's looking up the inside of Jeff Smith. This is a bit more Matt Neal-like, isn't it? It's come alive in the last couple of laps.
It's going to be a dash to the flag between them. The flag goes out for Jason Plato to win for the second time today. Andrew Jordan second, Gordon Shedden third, and it's just Jeff Smith for 4th, ahead of Matt Neal by 0.115 of a second, and then Sam Tornoff takes home 6th place. This is a very good day for Jason Plato, but it's a very good day thus far as well for Pertec Racing, isn't it? With 2 cars in the top 4 in that second race.
Yeah, that was a great race for Pertec. Really pleased for Jeff Smith. An excellent result. Defended hard, had good pace. But Plato, wow, is he looking strong. When he can win with full ballast on board, you better all watch out. But we saw a glimpse there with Shedden. Really good pace, passed a lot of cars to get up onto the podium. Excellent drive by him. Tornoff managed to finish 6th, so be very interesting to see where he starts on the final one. And a shout out to Liam Griffin, who won the Super 2000 race for the Jack Sears Trophy. Excellent race for Liam.
Frank Raffle's race, not so excellent. He made lots of overtakes in that. He also got involved in the wars, and that was the final one, as he got tagged with Matt Neal, and off he went into the gravel. Hard to really work out whose fault that was, if anybody's.
I don't think you can apportion blame to that. That's just a case of, you know, rear of one car, front of another, converging on the entry to the corner, and unfortunately that was the result.
So it's yet another car for the marshals to dig out of the gravel. You can tell it's been a long weekend for them, can't you? Just off the way that the marshal thinks, oh, here's another car I've got to sort out. But
the only thing is that Frank now hasn't got a result to lose when he goes to the clerk, of course, about his incidents with Turkington and Rob Austin, has he? He's actually had his own punishment in a way.
It's true. Jason Plato is the winner in the end by just under a second. The gap matters little because a win is a win. Gordon Shedden got the point for the fastest lap, and of course Jason also bags the point for being a lap leader in that race. So the technical team make sure all is good with the car. Let's confirm the result then, because as they came over the line, Jason Plato wins for the second time today at Brands Hatch, ahead of Andrew Jordan and Gordon Shedden. Jeff Smith is 4th ahead of Matt Neal, and Sam Tordoff into the top 6. Adam Morgan, another good solid run for 7th ahead of Matt Jackson. Colin Turkington takes 9th, and Dave Newsham in the points for 10th place. 11th, Nick Foster didn't even start race 1. Liam Griffin wins the Jack Sears Trophy element ahead of James Kay. James Cole, who started at the back of the grid, 14th. Good result for him ahead of Dan Welch and Warren Scott. Raffle in the gravel, David Nye in the gravel. Tom Onslow Cole in trouble, Rob Austin with damage.
2 wins out of 2 so far from Jason Plato, but it's Matt Jackson on pole position for this afternoon's final round of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship. Once again, your commentators Tim Harvey and David Addison.
The sun is shining at long last. The grid is formed. There are a couple of cars starting in the pit lane. One is there with Rob Collard. Behind him is Tom Onslow. Hopefully now sorted. And so race 3 is about to get underway. Matt Jackson is the man who starts on pole position. He is one of the drivers who's going to be on the soft tyres this time around, with Adam Morgan with him at the front of the grid. Sam Tordoff lines up 3rd ahead of Matt Neal, with Jeff Smith, who celebrated his 47th birthday earlier this week, lining up 5th, and Andrew Jordan is there to round out the top 6. Jason Plato is next, with Colin Turkington with him. Dave Newsham has had a mixed day, but is always one to watch. Nick Foster next with the eBay Motors BMW, ahead of Liam Griffin, and then James Cole, who was in the gravel in race 1, went well in race 2. Daniel Welch is next with Warren Scott's Super 2000 car for company. Then it's Frank Raffle, as ever, a man to look for. David Nye ahead of Tom Onslow Cole on the grid, but we know that Tom's now going to start from the pit lane. Rob Austin's car repaired after its contact with Raffle earlier on in the day. Rob Collard from the pits, Ollie Jackson on the grid. Aaron Smith with a split intercooler now sorted. He'll be one to watch. Will Bratt's there as well. Jack Goff and Lee Wood is on the outside of the 12th row. Gordon Shedden is going to be one to watch for sure on the soft tyres at the back, and parts permitting, Joe Girling hopefully will get his first race of the day under his belt. As ever, 2 warming up laps to get the heat into the tyres. The car's being headed around by Matt Jackson. Well, Tim Harvey, it has been, for sure, a mixed weekend for the local team, Airwaves Racing, but we know that Matt Jackson is capable of winning races. He's got to deliver now.
Well, he's going to try. It's not going to be easy for him, that's for sure, but he is a bit of a specialist at winning reverse grid races, so if anyone could do it, he can. But it's going to be tough. I mean, this is going to be the most interesting race of the day. We've got reverse grid, we've got the majority of the front cars on the soft tyre, but the 2 who are nearest the front on the regular medium are Sam Tordoff on the second row and Adam Morgan on the front row, so watch out for them. But then, of course, we got Shedden for his 200th race, starting right at the back.
And Colin Turkington is going to be a man to watch as well, because he starts 8th on the grid for this race. And Colin Turkington is on the hard tyres. Let's see if we can grab a word before the race starts. Colin, David in the commentary box. This, hopefully, is going to be a good way to end the weekend for you.
Yeah, hopefully I can make a bit of progress here. Quite pleased that I'm on the hard tyre. Had my run this morning on the soft tyre, and yeah, it was quite tricky the last 6 or 7 laps, so yeah, we'll see how it goes.
And you've had more than your share of contact this weekend, so just a good finish and some more points would do you nicely, I guess.
Yeah, there's been a lot of driving from the back really for me this weekend. It's back with a bang to British touring cars. You know, I didn't expect it to go that it was going to be easy, so yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident.
We'll leave you to it. Have a good race, Colin. So the 2009 champion, good to have him back in the BTCC. His teammate Rob Collard, though, Tim, is back in the pit lane. Rob has had a nightmare weekend.
Oh, they've had awful trouble. They put a new engine in that car, and then they found that there was a problem with the alternator. Then they found there was a water leak or an airlock in the water system. So just continual problems. But this is part of running new cars, and I'm sure that West Surrey will get on board of it, on top of it. I mean, it is a Neil Brown engine, same as they used last year. James Cole also in the pits. That again was one of the new cars just finished this weekend. So not surprisingly, the latest cars to be finished are in the pits. I think that may have just been a check on Collard's car, because he's gone back out again. I think he was starting at the back anyway, so I think they just did it almost like an installation lap, just to check the water pressure in the system.
But now he's going to have to start from the pit lane, Rob Collard, because the grid is about to form. And James Cole was also in the pit lane, and there he is. He is going to start behind Rob Collard, so they're going to be 2 to watch to see what progress they can make from the pit lane as the grid now starts to assemble. we get ready for round 3 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship. Gordon Shedden, the reigning champion, at the back of the grid, trying to get some warmth into the tyres. Joe Gerling is there behind him, so it's good to have Joe on the grid after drive shaft dramas earlier on in the day. And of course, Tom Onslow Cole will be behind all of them, having had to join in on those warming up laps from the pit lane. 24 racing laps in prospect, 1 or 2 gaps on the grid as we've accounted for, but it's just about time to go racing in the sunshine at Brands Hatch. Last car on the grid, and then they can all concentrate on the lighting gantry. Green flag shown at the back of the grid. That means everybody is where they need to be. And now the drivers look towards the lights. They'll go red, the lights will go out. And round 3 of the BTCC will be underway. Lights are red, lights out now. Away they go. And a good start is made by Jackson. A good start is made also by Adam Morgan to slot in behind him. And Matt Neal bags third on the run up towards Paddock. Then you've got Smith and Jordan overlapping. And Colin Turkington locks up and he's off. He's in the gravel. Oh no, Colin! He steers away from the tyres. Can he put himself back on the tarmac? There's a huge beach to drive across there. He's heading for the tarmac. He's back on track. And Colin's weekend goes from bad to worse.
Well, he's taking up residency, isn't he, at the Paddock gravel track this weekend, and really unfortunate. The big loser off the start line was actually Tordoff. He got a terrible start. Further back, was that Liam Griffin? No, it's the second Airways car. It's actually Aaron Smith who's gone off. But yeah, Tordoff got a bad start, but away at the front, it was a good start by Matt Jackson.
And we've just seen Dan Welch slow as well. Is that a mechanical problem, or was that him recovering after a little error? Let's see. Matt Jackson leads over the line at the end of lap 1. And he's got a good lead already, 7/10 over in second place. Matt Neal, Adam Morgan is third, Jason Plato is fourth, Jordan is fifth, Tordoff sixth, Jeff Smith runs 7th, then it's Newsham, Nick Foster and Rob Austin. Oh, off goes Austin, he's been collected by a spinning Newsham. That is a big, big impact. The Audi is demolished. Rob Austin is in the middle of the road. That's certainly going to be a safety car. It may even be a stoppage. But Rob Austin has hit the Armco of the tyre wall a mighty blow.
That was a scary accident, very scary accident. He looks to be okay, but very scary because he just got clipped by the car coming back onto the track, and it turned him around, and he's gone backwards into the Armco, just going up the hill. Oh, well, glad to see he's okay, but scary accident.
The best news of the day, I think, is that Rob is safe and sound and gets out of the car. The car is history.
He's already mentally calculating the cost.
Yeah.
That's what an owner-driver does. He's looking at the back of the car and just thinking the calculator's going in his head.
A bittersweet weekend. Podium in race 1, and now this. A wrecked car. The medical team is there to make sure that he's okay. Now talk us through it, Tim.
So we look back further at top of your screen. Newsham gets sideways, just clips the back. That turns the car around. It goes out of shot, but almost goes backwards square on into the wall because there's the actual Armco is at a bit of an angle. Here we see the reverse shot. This should show us the angle of contact for Rob Austin. Look, backwards, and he just clips that sideways wall. Fortunately, it was slightly up the hill, a bit further up than I thought, but a massive impact at barely unabated speed.
So Dave Newsham lost it, slithered across the track, and of course Rob Austin saw a car slow ahead of him. He darted up the inside. Just look at the force with which he hits the barrier. That is huge.
Shows how strong these cars are, though, because that took the impact very, very well. And it was on the driver's side. You can see the safety carbon over the roll cage on the driver's side. A huge amount of protection for the driver, plus the window net, plus the seat that surrounds the driver's head. So huge amount of safety there. Dave Newsham, he's obviously out of it as well. Real shame. That was the same incident we've seen before with the cold tyre on the rear just starting a slide. Oh, shake hands. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Dave Newsham apologises to Rob Austin, says I'm really sorry about that. Dave losing it on cold tyres, slithered across the circuit, and Rob not at all happy, but as Tim has said, the good news is he's okay. Now Colin Turkington, don't forget, has already been in the wars on the very first corner of the race. Lights went out, everybody accelerates up towards Paddock, and Colin Turkington, who was saying he was hopefully going to be able to make some progress in this, was rather hung out to dry on the outside. Colin
there was just the slightest bit of contact, wasn't there, with, I think it was either Plato or Tordoff, one of the MGs. And at that point, just as you're going on the brakes, now we'll see what it was, because we've got a camera on the right-hand side. That's Plato on the right. He's got a good start, and just, it was the tiniest of touches, wasn't it? Just as he was coming off the power onto the brakes, and it was enough to just send the car wide. But obviously with this safety car now, they're slowing right down to go past the incident, but he's still on the tail of the grid.
And the clear-up operation continues here at Brands Hatch, and we'll be back after the break. Matt Neal is the leader here at Brands Hatch of round 3 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship. We've gone racing again after the safety car period. We've had a bit of shuffling, and we've also had a problem for Matt Jackson. Coming out of Druids, Tim Harvey, he slowed.
Yeah, he pulled out to the outside because the car had obviously cut out again, but then it picks up and he slots back in with intention. He's not trying to get out of the way. He knows the car's running okay, and he's slotted back in with intention, and he's still going.
Now, Matt Neal may have been a bit subdued early in the day, but he's been scoring points nicely, and now he leads the way. But Jason Plato had briefly done the fastest lap of the race. Frank Rathel is now the quickest man on the circuit. Frank Rathel is in 8th place at the back of that shot in the orange Toyota. He is a man on a mission as Jeff Smith looks up the inside there of Sam Tordoff. And Matt Jackson, having dropped into 5th place, is now trying to fight back as best he can.
Yeah, Plato will be quite happy with this at the moment in 3rd place. Remember, he's on the soft tyres, so trying to conserve those tyres as much as possible, as is the leader, Matt Neal. But the man in 2nd place, Adam Morgan, he's on the regular medium compound tyres. You'll hear the drivers refer to it as the hard, but they're really just comparing it with the soft tyre. But there's actually, the hard tyre is actually the tyre we use in Thruxton. This is actually the medium tyre. As Rathel up the inside of Jess Smith and looks to have the job done.
Rathel's another driver on softs. Remember, he goes up the inside, he gains the place. Heading now through paddock. Next target for him is going to be the MG of Tordoff as they climb up towards Druids. And look, Gordon Shedden is there in the background. Having failed that ride height check at the end of race 2, that's what put him to the back of the grid. Forget about all of that now as far as Gordon's concerned. Just concentrate on this race, try and get as many points and as many places as he can. You're riding on board with Flash now down at Graham Hill Bend.
Yeah, great on-board shot there. You can see Jeff Smith's car running wide. Didn't quite make the apex, actually, at Graham Hill. And here the driver's using a lot of the curb to shortcut the track and then protecting the inside there. Gordon's gone wide and he's going to get a little run. He's going to try and nose down the inside. But at this stage, all the cars have got good tyres underneath them and he just can't get any superior traction. But alongside, Rathel and Smith alongside each other.
Matt Jackson, I think it is, on the outside, and Jackson's going backwards. Look, this is more and more places lost. That is not a happy Ford Focus, is it?
No, you're right. He now has got his teammate behind him.
And now you've got Smith and Rathel overlapping the Druids. On the outside is Rathel. Gordon Shedden thinking, now where's the gap going to be? It's on the inside of Druids. He sorts out Rathel, who goes wide over the curb. And Jeff Smith, having a stellar weekend here, is now fending off the reigning champion.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, isn't he? After his podium, it's a shame he didn't get on the podium. Obviously, Shedden had that, but he inherited it. It was Shedden's problem. It would have been great to see Jeff on the podium.
For how long can he keep Shedden at bay? Jeff Smith locks up, going into clearways. Two of them running nose to tail. You're on board with Shedden, coming through Clark Curve.
Matt Neal has the fastest lap at the moment on the last lap. But nobody's gone quicker this lap, but it'll be interesting to see when the tide turns against these soft-tyred runners.
These two Hondas squabbling, same type of car, run by different teams. There's a gap on the inside, but is Shedden close enough? He closes up under braking, almost tickles the back of Jeff Smith's car as they go through the hairpin. He could barely be any closer now. What about the gap at Graham Hill Bend? No, that door is shut, locked and bolted. Well in anticipation by Jeff Smith.
Yeah, we can see that Shedden is much better on the brakes. Smith is braking it right on the limit, but he's locking up and running wide and missing apexes into the tight corner. Look, there again, much better on the brakes, Shedden. And he's going to run out of patience soon. He's going to have a little nudge, but he's much, much better on the brakes. Druids and clearways are the opportunities really for Gordon to get past. He's looking down the inside. Is the door going to open? I don't think, yes it is. Whoa, back end off the ground as he popped over the little bump on the exit of the pit lane. The back end was completely off the ground.
That's for 6th, Shedden ahead of Smith, and now Rathel looks for a way through as well as they dive into the hairpin. Behind them, you've got Matt Jackson. There's Aaron Smith in that mix as well. And Nick Foster going strongly behind in the eBay Motors BMW. So Frank Raffle, who was certainly aggressive in the middle race of the three, now looking for a way past Jeff Smith. Up front, Matt Neal leads the way. Adam Morgan, driving the race of his life, is second, albeit a second and a half back. Jason Plato is third. Fourth is Andrew Jordan. Fifth, on hard tyres, is Sam Tordoff, and he is the fastest man on the circuit.
Well, that tells you something, doesn't it? The man on the first man on the hard tyre, well, actually Morgan's on hard tyres, but Tordoff has set the fastest lap. If he can work his way through now as the front runners on soft tyres lose a bit of time, then he really could challenge for the win.
Adam Morgan's second. You're looking back at Jason Plato, who is right on his tail, going through Druids. Down towards Graham Hill Bend they come, then behind them Andrew Jordan fourth, Sam Tordoff fifth, closing up. There's now a little bit of a bottleneck developing here. Second, third, fourth and fifth are going to be together, I suspect, by the end of this lap. And this is lap 14 out of 27, extended because of the safety car needed after the Rob Austin Dave Newsham accident. Good to see both drivers okay after what was a mighty impact at Paddock Hill Bend.
Now, if Tordoff can get past Jordan, it'd be interesting to see what happens. Will Plato let him go, or will he stay behind Plato dutifully till the end?
Jason, of course, is much the championship leader after those two victories. It's been a great day for Jason, hasn't it? Turning his way through Paddock. Now, he's not as close to the back of Adam Morgan as he needs to be. 6/10 was the margin over the line. If anything, Plato is being caught by Jordan, and Jordan is taking Tordoff with him. So now it's going to be third, fourth and fifth really squabbling.
Yeah, we've got to remember that Plato is still carrying maximum ballast. So he's got maximum ballast on the car and soft tyres. So he's going to be doubly handicapped, isn't he, as this race goes on. He's in a brilliant position as he is. But, well, it'd be very unlikely for him to have the front-running pace in this race. But what's going to happen?
Matt Neal, the leader, has got 9 kilos of success ballast on board, and Gordon Shedden, look in the background, who was quicker than anybody on the first half of this lap. He's creeping into the mix as well from the back of the grid, don't forget. Sheds is one very fired-up driver. Don't rule out the place gaining, or more places to be gained, I should say, before the end of the race. He might yet get himself on the podium, the way that he's going.
He might well do, but it's worth remembering as well that although he was excluded from race 2, he still has to carry the ballast that he earned from that third position. So he's still carrying 27 kilos. It's a double penalty, really. Get excluded, start from the back and carry the weight.
Andrew Jordan here pushing on in pursuit of Jason Plato. Jason third for the moment, the last place on the podium. Adam Morgan, though, driver transformed, isn't he? He's gone so much better this weekend than we saw last year, but the pressure is now coming from Plato, and Plato is under attack once again from Andrew Jordan. Remember, they've crossed swords already today at the end of race 1. Could be game on again between the pair of them. Up over the line they come. Matt Neal, in the meantime, is still pulling clear up front.
Well, Jordan's certainly being a little bit circumspect at the moment. He won't want to do what he did at the end of race 1 on Jason Plato, but he's getting pushed. Look, Tordoff's looking. He's definitely got the right tyre on at the moment, Tordoff. He needs to really be aggressive now and push forward, because he's got Shedden right behind him. Look, oh, he's diving up the inside. Great move by Tordoff. Fantastic.
He was coming through, and it was up to Andrew Jordan to make his own arrangements there to get out of the way. And now Jordan's got to go defensive to keep Gordon Shedden behind him. Now, what further progress from Tordoff? Pose the question, can he get past Jason Plato? Is he allowed to get past Jason Plato? We're about to find out, I think, at the end of this lap 17.
Well, come on, Sam Tordoff, do a Vettel and pass your teammate. Go on, I want to see you go forward.
Now, what's Shedden going to do here about Andrew Jordan going up towards Paddock? Is there a gap on the inside? There is, but Sheds doesn't make the move there. Turning through the right-hander, road drops away, climb uphill towards Druids. Now there's a big gap on the inside. Can Flash make a move? Not there, he can't. Slots back in, almost touching the tail of Andrew Jordan's Honda. He is touching the tail.
Oh, that was just a little kiss. That wasn't anything major in touring car terms. That was just a tiny bit of getting on the throttle slightly earlier, just a minuscule before. Tordoff is catching Plato on this lap.
Not only that, he's also being warned about his driving standards, because the race officials think that Sam Tordoff is exceeding the track limits. Well, at the moment, he is right on the tail of Jason Plato for third place. And Jason, double winner already today, is now going to have a real workout thanks to his teammate. Over the line they come. And they can't afford to squabble for too long, because otherwise that'll put Jordan and Shedden back up with them.
It will, and I mean, I dare say Jason would love Sam to work as rear gunner for him and protect him from Jordan and Shedden, but well, I'd like to see Tordoff let loose. He is on the better tyre for this race, and he should really be allowed to go forward.
If Jason agrees with you, he's not showing it just yet, is he? Because that's still quite a wide MG. If Sam's going to find a way past him, he's going to have to work for it. That seems to be the way that Triple H is adopting the principle at the moment. Through Surtees they go. Jason Plato running third. Sam Tordoff closing up under braking, right onto the tail of Plato. And Andrew Jordan closes up as well. In the Honda in 5th place, Gordon Shedden is there 6th. Look, the red and white Honda Yuasa Racing Civic as they come up over the timing line. Matt Neal leads now. Adam Morgan second, and it's 2 seconds between the pair of them. Morgan over a second clear of Plato as now Shedden goes to the inside at Paddock. Andrew Jordan gives him racing room. Still side by side through the corner, but Sheds has got the inside line for Druids. Is this going to be 5th place as Tordoff goes 3rd on the inside of Plato? What a move!
Yeah, Plato led him through there. They've obviously had their team photographs taken of them running in tandem, and now he's gladly led him past, which is good because Plato's scoring great points already this weekend, and it's great to see the new boy Sam Tordoff in the team let loose. No team orders. That's fantastic for the Touring Car Championship.
So Sam Tordoff then up into 3rd place. Gordon Shedden is now 5th at the expense of Andrew Jordan. Well, Jason Plato is not going to get out of the way of the Scotsman, that's for sure. So we are now looking at a really good battle for 4th place. Over the line comes Plato. Over the line behind him is Shedden, the reigning champion. Looks for a way past the MG. Up towards Paddock. Here he comes to the inside. There's a big gap on the inside. And through he goes. Gordon Shedden gains 4th place from the back of the grid, remember, and with 27 kilos of ballast on board. Driving the champion.
Yeah, so far, and Shedden was one of the few drivers to have really tested this a soft tyre. He has done a race distance on it, so he probably knows better than most what the tyre is capable of, but with less weight on board, he's able to cruise past Jason, who is not going to put up a fight. He's just going to get as many points out of this race as he can.
Locking up, wheel lifting, Gordon Shedden turns his way through clearways. Now the next target for him is the podium, and Sam Tordoff is the man that stands between Gordon and the 3rd step at the moment. So as they come over the line, as Matt Neal leads the way, don't forget he's 1.8 seconds up. He's actually being caught by Adam Morgan. Sam Tordoff is 3rd, and the gap Tordoff to Shedden is 1 second. And this is fun and games in the S2000 class. David Nye being monstered by Will Bratt, and Lee Wood was right there as well, but David Nye just hanging on to the class lead. Will Bratt getting past him, but Lee Wood in the other S2000 car not quite being able to squeeze by.
Yeah, well, Tordoff is quicker than Shedden at the moment, and he's catching Morgan slightly. Morgan and Tordoff on the medium compound tyre, so the better tyre at the moment. Neal is still holding a 1.8 second gap, but he is slower than the both of them, so I can see this really concertinaing towards the end.
Looking back from Adam Morgan's car coming over the line, Matt Neal leading the way by 1.6 seconds. Again, Morgan is lapping quicker, but look, Tordoff behind him takes half a second out of the advantage that Morgan had built up. Tordoff is a man on a mission, but Gordon Shedden is doing comparable lap times to Sam Tordoff as well, so Shedden for the podium, I still think he's on.
Yeah, I think, well, it depends. It depends what happens with these two. If there's a clean pass or a clean manoeuvre, then I think Shedden's going to still struggle to get on the podium. But if they have contact or slow each other up, Shedden will sniff an opportunity.
The reigning champion does not give up, does he? Going up towards clearways, his last lap was only a 10th slower than that of Tordoff. He was quicker, therefore, than Morgan, much quicker by a second or so than his teammate Matt Neal, who leads the race. Matt Neal perhaps now just relaxing his pace to try and look after that soft tyre. Adam Morgan, don't forget, is on the harder tyre. He used the soft earlier on in the day, and Morgan has got Tordoff also on the harder tyre right up behind him.
Yeah, but relatively speaking, Tordoff was nearly a second quicker on that lap than Matt Neal, and that's why this is concertinaing. And Tordoff has definitely got the pace and the number of laps left if he can get through.
But Shedden is closing up as well, so this concertina effect is happening right the way through the leaderboard now. Looking back from Adam Morgan's car at Graham Hill Bend, it'd be great to have Adam Morgan on the podium at the end of this weekend, finally putting to bed this reputation of a bit of a wild man from last year. He has, as I said earlier on, been a driver transformed this weekend. Tordoff arriving on his back bumper, and look, Shedden's all sideways behind them. Has he caught it? I think he just about has. but in the background that was a big slide from Shedden. You can see how much time he's lost. That, I think, may well have been the save of the day.
Yeah, well, Gordon is an absolute expert at doing that. There's probably only Andrew Jordan better than Gordon at saving a sideways front-wheel drive car, but that does drop him back a little bit from this battle that's going to get very heated.
Nose to tail at Druids, and this is lap 25 out of 27. Somebody hide the checkered flag, really, because it's building up nicely, this now. Gordon Shedden needs to get back onto terms with these two, and he is doing it and making it look easy.
Yeah, Adam Morgan is the cork in the bottle here. He's really holding up Tordoff, but Tordoff can't find a clean way past. He's looking up the inside. This is the move. This is the move. There's contact, but he's going to get through, and Shedden up the inside may get both of them.
Here he comes, he's level with Tordoff. Morgan's down to fourth. Gordon Shedden has got the inside line going in towards paddock. He's got his nose in front. Tordoff is on the outside line. Shedden is on the inside line, and the reigning champion goes through up into second place. It's a 1-2 at the moment for Honda Yuasa Racing. We're on lap 26 out of 27. Tordoff, therefore, is still third, and Adam Morgan has been bumped off the podium down to fourth place.
Well, this will lift Steve Neal's mood on the pit perch there. He's not been the most approachable man in the paddock this weekend with the way things have gone, but this will certainly lift his mood. And yeah, fantastic drive by Shedden. He really has proved himself here, hasn't he? He's his second race and this race, absolutely fantastic drives.
David Nye running wide, and he's about to lose the class lead, is he? Yes, he has done, because past him has gone Lee Wood, and also now Liam Griffin has gone past him. So David Nye in the Jack Sears Trophy, slipping down the order. Tom Onslow Cole in the NGTC Volkswagen bag gets through as well.
That's a beautiful looking car, that VW Passat. Oh, there's a dust up the front. Who's that from? It's before the leaders, so it's a back marker that's from when Nye went off, yeah.
Gordon Shedden could yet win this, couldn't he? Because it was 9/10 Matt Neal to Gordon Shedden starting this last lap of the race, and Gordon is almost on the tail of Matt Neal now. Down towards Graham Hill Bend they come. Can he get close enough to mount a really serious bid in the last two corners of the race? Sam Tordoff is still third, looking good for the podium, and Matt Neal looks as though he might just hang on, coming in towards clearways for the last time, but Gordon Shedden is right on his tail under braking. There is nothing between them. Can Shedden mount the attack coming up towards the line? Are they going to be side by side or nose to tail? Are there team orders on this last lap? Here they come. Matt Neal is heading for win number 49, and Gordon Shedden is almost alongside him as they come over the line. 83 thousandths of a second split the teammates. Matt Neal is the winner from Gordon Shedden, and Sam Tordoff takes third after a cracking drive. Fourth goes to Adam Morgan, Jason Plato fifth, Andrew Jordan sixth. Wow, what a start we have had to the 2013 season. It's another win, a 49th of his career for Matt Neal. It's been action all day, lots to talk about. And what a finish, 83 thousandths between the two winners.
Yeah, brilliant race. I think definitely the soft tyre option works very well. It's spiced up the racing. We've had Matt Neal winning the third race, Jason Plato the first two. Some fantastic performances by newcomers. Tordoff has been good, Morgan's been good, Rathel's been quick but problematic. We've yet to see the best out of the BMWs though.
So Matt Neal delivers once again, and Gordon Shedden, remember, who started on the 13th row of the grid, comes home in second place. What a drive. Sam Tordoff for third. Great start, his first full season in the BTCC. Well, there are going to be quite a few drivers with a lot to think about after this weekend. Their weekends have not gone as they might have hoped, but at the end of the weekend, a 1-2 finish for Honda Yuasa Racing is very good news indeed for them. We'll see what the championship situation is going to look like, of course, after this very shortly. Jason Plato, with those two race wins, backs it up with a fifth. So again, he's been scoring points nicely over the course of the weekend. And the pace of the MG's impressive. We know they're good in the dry. Have they got the wet problem sorted out? We'll find out later in the year, maybe. Matt Neal the winner, Gordon Shedden second, and Sam Tordoff third. Adam Morgan bags fourth, ahead of Plato, Jordan and Smith. Frank Raffel keeps out of trouble this time for eighth. Colin Turkington dug himself out of the gravel. He got ninth. And Matt Jackson, who led early on, only 10th. Aaron Smith for Airwaves Racing 11th. The Proton of Dan Welch, after an up and down kind of a weekend, is 12th. Nick Foster 13th, ahead of Will Bratt's Audi. Lee Wood this time comes home victorious in the Jack Sears Trophy, ahead of Liam Griffin. Tom Onslow Cole is 17th, ahead of David Nye. Joe Girling, his first race of the weekend, and Jack Goff rounds out the top 20. So, what about the championship? That man, Plato, is the leader. He's 9 points up on Andrew Jordan. Sam Tordoff third, Jeff Smith fourth, and that win for Matt Neal puts him fifth ahead of Adam Morgan. Colin Turkington seventh, Frank Rathel is eighth, Gordon Shedden is ninth, and the top 10 rounded out by Rob Austin, despite his crippled car after that big impact at the start of race 3.